Are the Cowboys closer to dethroning the Eagles in the NFC East?
No. Listen, the Cowboys still have some significant issues with their football team to begin with. Number one, and I like the fact that they brought back Donovan Wilson, their safety, but they still have offensive line issues. They still have to do something at tight end. They're likely to lose Dalton Schultz. They still need a really, I guess, reliable number 2 or number 3 receiver. Michael Gallup should be better this year. Second year off the ACL surgery, defensive tackle, and maybe inside linebacker, corner opposite Trayvon Diggs. So there's still some question marks with their football team. I understand what is happening in Philadelphia and it to give people a lot of trepidation and pause, and that's fair. Both coordinators are gone. So we got to, that is something you have to wait and see, because calling plays, whether on either side of the ball, is a very different experience than just being a good positional coach. So while I understand that this offense is basically back for Philadelphia, they might lose Ciamalo, but with Jason coming back at center, that's a big deal. If Ciamalo's gone, they'll put Juergens in there, who they drafted to replace Kelsey one day. So offensively, outside of maybe Miles Sanders, they're going to be back. Defensively is the question. Go back to last year's draft. Javon Hargrave moves on to the 49ers. Well, they took Jordan Davis in the first round from Georgia at defensive tackle. It's time. You got to stay healthy and you got to play good football. But you're a first-round defensive tackle, so that's the expectation. T.J. Edwards moves on to Chicago at linebacker. They took Nakobe Dean, who had some question marks coming out for last year's draft. If those question marks weren't there, he would have been a first-round pick. So those 2 young players, it's go time. And I think they got 2 first-round picks this year. This is where Howie Roseman has got to be really, really hit on one of those drafts. He's got to have a Joe Douglas for the Jets type of draft. Those 2 first-round picks, he's got 4 picks in the top 93. They're going to need some help at defensive tackle. They'll probably draft a corner or 2, maybe even a safety. So I don't have a lot of reservations, because I think that some of the picks of the past have to step forward. They've got those 2 first-rounders this year. They don't have to use them on a quarterback because Jalen played so well. And the Cowboys still have holes themselves. I think you can make the case that the Giants are a little bit even with the Cowboys, more so than the Cowboys are with the Eagles.
Well, every now and then miracles happen and we agree, and I'm looking at your brilliance and I say, you know what, you've come a long way. I'm very, very proud of your take, because I completely agree with you. The reality of the situation is my answer will be far more simplistic than your thorough, in-depth, albeit complicated answer. The fact of the matter is Jalen Hurts ain't going anywhere, okay? A.J. Brown ain't going anywhere. Devontae Smith ain't going anywhere, okay? And when you look at the Eagles' offensive line, all right, they ain't going anywhere. Kelsey's staying on board reportedly as well. Their running game's going to remain intact. So when I look at it from that perspective, I'm just saying that in the end, the Dallas Cowboys, you still don't have a number 1 receiver. Ezekiel Elliott ain't what he used to be. I don't know how happy Pollard is with the franchise tag. I think he received the franchise tag at about $10 million. We'll see what happens and what that manufactures.
Stephen, you don't think CeeDee Lamb's the number 1?
I think that he is. I think he's maturing and growing into that. He's legit number 1. But it's not like we're talking about Devontae Adams or DeAndre Hopkins or somebody. You know what I'm saying? A matter of fact, you got Des Bryant on video trying to get D-Hop in Dallas, okay? Yeah. Well, if CeeDee Lamb was all that in the bag of chips, what you clamoring for D-Hop for? I'm not saying that Des Bryant is trying to throw any shade on CeeDee Lamb, because I know better. I'm simply saying that CeeDee Lamb is relatively young, and even though he's got the talent to be a number 1 receiver, there's still a lot to learn, and there's a lot of maturation that needs to take place for you to be that dude. We understand that. We accept that. I think that when you look at Dallas, as long as Dak Prescott is still a huge question mark in terms of his production in games that count, particularly the postseason, you're going to be on the outside looking in. So I do agree with your analysis overall when you say the Dallas Cowboys are closer to being comparable with the New York Giants than they are with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Foregone conclusion, Rodgers at any moment. He's just the dramatic, making us wait for him, the big star.
Miles, I've felt this way for about 10 days right now, pretty confidently. Again, this is a total gut feeling. I don't think this is a wait for me thing from Aaron Rodgers. And maybe I'm in the minority of that.
What is it?
I think he went to the Jets, or maybe he went to his reps, and his agent was the same as my football agent, and said, and again, total conspiracy theory for me, I'll go to the Jets. I want these moves done, and I want it to be kept quiet because I want to break the news, and I don't want it to be leaked out that I'm going. I want these moves done. If that happens, and if it's kept quiet, then I'm going to go be a New York Jet. That's what, and I feel like that's because my thing with this the whole time, Molly, is one, this makes, first of all, Lazard's a really good player, really good blocking wide receiver. So, like, that helps the Jets. He loves Randall Cobb, and you can make the case with the Jets no longer having Braxton Berrios that they need that slot receiver.
They do.
My whole thing was this. There's no way on God's green earth that the Jets organization in a season one, I'll reiterate this, they have to win. We're going to sit there and go, Derek Carr, yeah, just go. And Jimmy Garoppolo, just go. And Mike White, go down to Miami. And we'll just sit and wait. There's no way. There's no way that would be so ignorant. I think that, again, conspiracy theory. So this is just part of the steps that were mandated, I guess, or wanted by the quarterback to say, you make them, I'll come.
Okay. So you think he's not 100% sure. He was just waiting to see if they lived up to his request.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing these dominoes fall, or rather, they're gathering these chips.
Correct.
All I'm going to say is this. All of these moves are being made to appease one of the greatest quarterbacks who have ever lived.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is worthy of all the praise in the world as far as I'm concerned as a talent.
For sure.
He is not worthy of one thing and one thing only, being treated like somebody who's won so much we should be clamoring towards his every move. It's the one thing he's not worthy of. Aaron Rodgers, because of his greatness, the results that he has recorded has been a disappointment. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.